Planning a trip to Singapore? Well, here's everything I wish I knew before I went. From why you shouldn't book Gardens by the Bay Supertrees in advance, to where to eat like a local, the best places to stay, how to get around, and why you should probably skip the tourist transport card. Plus, I'll share money saving hacks and the do's and don'ts of Singapore. This video has all the tips you need, so let's dive in. Number 1. Where to stay. Singapore is known for being an expensive city, especially when it comes to hotels. But if you're looking to save money, try staying just outside the central areas or away from the main attractions. You can usually find cheaper options there. And even if your hotel is a bit further out, it's not a big deal. Singapore is small, so getting around is really easy. Everything is pretty close together, and the public transportation system is excellent. We took public transport everywhere, and it made getting around very easy, connecting us to all the main sites and neighbourhoods. That being said, if you want to be close to iconic landmarks like Gardens by the Bay, then Marina Bay is a great choice. It's right in the heart of everything, with stunning views and easy access to top attractions. But if you're looking for budget-friendly options and a taste of local culture, Chinatown and Little India are ideal. For those who love shopping, Orchard Road is the place to be. This is where we stayed, and it's well connected to the rest of the city. If nightlife and dining are more your thing, Clark Quay and Robertson Quay are perfect spots to check out. Also, to save on costs, avoid peak times like school holidays, Chinese New Year, National Day, and the Formula One Grand Prix, as prices tend to rise during these periods. Number 2. Hawker centres. Eating out in Singapore can be expensive, but there are some great places where you can find affordable and delicious food. Head to the hawker centres. They're fantastic and can be found all over the city. We checked out Newton Food Centre, famously featured in the movie Crazy Rich Asians, and Maxwell Food Centre in Chinatown. Both were amazing. These lively markets offer a huge variety of dishes, including Vietnamese, Malay, Indian, Chinese, and more, all in one place at great prices. Plus, the drink options are great too. You can even find Michelin-star stores serving delicious dishes for just a few pounds, and there are plenty of vegetarian and halal options available as well. Just a few tips to make your experience even better. Try to avoid peak times, like between 12 and 2 p.m, when locals are on their lunch break. The queues get long and finding a seat can be tough. Bring cash. Most vendors don't accept credit cards, so be sure to have cash on hand. Find a table. Locals often reserve their tables by leaving tissues, water bottles, or little items on the table. If you see that, it means the table is taken. But don't worry, if you need to share a table, that's totally normal and part of the experience. And finally, follow the long queues. If you see a store with a long queue, that usually means the food is great, so joining is probably worth the wait. Number 3. Use public transportation to get around. Getting around Singapore is super easy by using the MRT, the subway system. It's simple to use and the best way to get around. Stations are located all over the city, connecting you to all the main tourist attractions, shopping areas, and neighbourhoods. Plus, it's cheap, fast, and super convenient, with fares based on distance. The stations are well organised with signs in English and plenty of route information, so you won't have any trouble figuring things out. Plus, since most people speak English, you can always ask for help if you need it. Trains arrive every 5 minutes, and they are air-conditioned, spotless, and very safe. Overall, it's a smooth and stress-free way to explore the city. For tickets, you can easily buy them at any station using the general ticketing machines or at the ticket office. During our 5 days in Singapore, we used the MRT every day. We found that using contactless payment, just tapping in and out, worked out a lot cheaper than buying the tourist pass or the Easy Link card that's often promoted. Also, don't forget about the bus system. It's also easy to use and covers many areas. Number 4. The Grab. While the MRT is fantastic, there may be times when you need a taxi. In that case, I recommend downloading the Grab app. It works like Uber, but it's designed for Southeast Asia and it's really easy to use in Singapore. Just enter your destination and you'll see the fare up front, so you know the cost before you go. You can also flag a taxi on the street or find one at a designated taxi stand. By law, taxis in Singapore must use a meter, but keep in mind that there can be extra charges depending on the time, location or taxi company. But don't worry about being overcharged, it's very unlikely. Singapore has strict regulations for taxi drivers and they follow them closely. Number 5. The weather. One thing to know when travelling to Singapore is that nothing can get you ready for the intense humidity. It's hot and humid year-round, with temperatures in the 30s and average humidity levels around 84%. Singapore is one of the most humid places in Southeast Asia, and there's no escaping it. Think of it like stepping into a sauna that never turns off. Be ready to get hot and sweaty. To cope with it, I found that wearing light, breathable clothes like cotton or linen made a big difference. And, just like the locals, it's smart to carry a small umbrella for both the strong midday sun and those sudden afternoon rain showers. If you don't have an umbrella, don't worry. Singapore is super organised. Some MRT stations even have umbrella rental vending machines. And, of course, make sure you stay hydrated. Drink lots of water. Tap water in Singapore is safe and tastes good, so there's no need to buy bottled water. Just bring a reusable bottle and refill it at water coolers found in most attractions. Unfortunately, there's no escaping the heat in Singapore, but when it gets too intense, I found that heading into a shopping centre is the best way to cool down. However, the sudden change from the hot, humid outdoors to the cold, air-conditioned shopping centres can be quite startling. So it's a good idea to carry a light scarf or sweater. This can also come in handy when visiting temples and mosques. Number 6. Gardens by the Bay. If you're headed to Singapore, don't miss out on the Supertrees at Gardens by the Bay. The best part is totally free to enter. The place is massive, covering about 101 hectares, and it's stunning to explore. You can enjoy themed gardens, play areas for kids, and lovely lakes, all for free. You can also see the Supertrees from the ground without any cost. Plus, the Garden Rhapsody night show is free as well, taking place every evening at 7:45 and 8:45 p.m. It's fantastic and I highly recommend it. Now, if you're thinking about visiting the Cloud Forest, Flower Dome, or Floor Fantasy, it's worth noting they are all located next to each other, but they do have an entrance fee. There's also a fee if you want to go up to the OCBC Skyway or the Supertree Observatory. Just keep in mind, if it's raining or the weather isn't great, the walkway will be closed, so it's better not to book in advance. Also, each of these attractions close for maintenance at least once a month, so be sure to check the website before you go. Number 7. Singapore is a walkable city. If you enjoy exploring a city on foot, you're going to love Singapore. It's incredibly walkable because the city is compact and well designed for pedestrians. There are plenty of sidewalks, pedestrian zones and well-connected paths that make getting around easy and enjoyable. Plus, the city is mostly flat, so you won't have to worry about steep hills. And everything from parks to landmarks is often just a short walk away. And with how clean and safe it is, walking around is even more enjoyable. However, if you're not used to tropical weather, take it slow. The heat and humidity can be intense. Make sure to plan your routes carefully, as even short walks can feel exhausting in the heat. And trust me, I love walking, but even I found it tough at times. If you're feeling worn out, just hop on the MRT. There are stations all over the city, making it easy to take a break and continue exploring when you're ready. Number 8. Strict laws and regulations. Singapore is known for being incredibly clean and safe, thanks to its strict laws and regulations. You'll immediately notice how spotless the streets are. There's barely any litter. It's often called the fine city because there are a lot of rules to follow, and breaking them can lead to some pretty hefty fines or even jail time. For example, chewing gum has been banned here since 1992, so it's best to leave any gum at home just to be safe. And there are other rules to keep in mind. Smoking is only allowed in designated spots. Littering is a big no-no. And eating or drinking on public transport isn't allowed either. Even things like jaywalking or feeding pigeons can get you into trouble. It's definitely worth getting familiar with these rules before you visit. But on the flip side, the strictness really pays off. Singapore is one of the safest places you can visit. The low crime rate makes it a great destination. Just remember to use common sense as you would anywhere else, and you should have a great time exploring this country. Number 9. Tipping. Tipping isn't really common in Singapore, it's just not part of the culture. Most restaurants and cafes include a service charge in the bill, usually around 10%, so tipping isn't necessary or expected. Even at food courts and hawker centres where there's no service charge, locals don't usually tip. So if you decide to skip the tip, you definitely won't get any weird looks. Number 10. The language. English is one of Singapore's official languages, along with Mandarin, Malay and Tamil. Most locals speak English fluently, so you won't have any trouble communicating. Plus, all the signs are in English, making it really easy to get around. Number 11. Tax refund. If you love shopping, here's a useful tip for your trip to Singapore. As a visitor, you'll pay a 9% goods and service tax, called GST, on your purchases, but you can get part of that back through the GST refund scheme. Here's how. Number 1. Look for tax-free signs when shopping. These stores are part of the GST refund program. Number 2. To be eligible for the refund, you need to spend at least 100 Singapore dollars in one store. Number 3. Get an ETRS ticket when you pay. You'll need this ticket later to claim your refund. Number 4. Keep your purchases unused. They need to stay in their original packaging with tags until you leave Singapore. And number 5. Claim the refund at the airport. Before you leave, bring your purchases, receipts and passport to the GST refund counter to claim your refund. By following these steps, you can get back some of the GST you paid during your visit. Number 12. Sentosa Island. If you're planning a visit to Sentosa, make sure to set aside a full day because there's so much to see and do. The island is packed with attractions, gorgeous beaches, luxury hotels and tons of entertainment. Getting there is pretty simple. Start by taking the MRT to Harbour Front Station. From there you have 3 options to reach Sentosa. Number 1. Sentosa Express Monorail. Just walk over to Viva City Mall, head up to level 3 and hop on the Sentosa Express Monorail. It's a quick and easy way to get to the island. Number 2. Cable car. If you want a more scenic route, follow the signs from Harbour Front MRT to Harbour Front Tower 2 and take the cable car. You'll get some stunning views along the way. Number 3. Sentosa Boardwalk. If you're in the mood for a walk, you can get to Sentosa Island for free via the Sentosa Boardwalk. Just head to level 1 of Viva City and you'll find signs pointing you in the right direction. It's about a 20-minute walk with lovely sea views along the way. Each of these options has its perks, so pick the one that fits your style. Finally, plan ahead. Sentosa may be small, but it's full of things to do. Focus on the attractions you're most excited about, and don't forget to relax on one of the 3 beautiful beaches. Once you're on the island, getting around is really easy with free transportation options like the beach shuttle, bus and monorail. Many attractions are just a short walk from each other, And if you prefer, you can even rent a bike to explore the island at your own pace. Number 13. Changi Airport. When you arrive in Singapore, your holiday begins the moment you step into Changi Airport. It's been named the world's best airport for a reason. It feels more like a mini getaway than just a place to catch a flight. If you happen to arrive early or have some extra time, Changi Airport is a great place to explore. Even locals come here on weekends to enjoy the sights. You can wander through beautiful gardens, check out the impressive jewel rain vortex, visit a butterfly garden, shop at the huge shopping mall, and much more. There's no way you'll get bored. And if you have a layover in Singapore, you can take advantage of the free Singapore tour that Changi Airport offers. If you have between 5.5 and 24 hours before your next flight, you can join one of the free 2.5 hours guided tours. You can choose from the City Site Tour, the Heritage Tour, or the Changi Precinct Tour. So if you have that extra time, it's a great way to explore the city for free. Thank you for watching. If these tips help you plan your trip to Singapore, be sure to hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe for more travel guides and tips. Check out our Singapore travel guide for even more information on making the most of your visit.